Hello everyone. Do you ever look up to the stars and think about your fate? Do you ever consider if a force of destiny is driving you towards a certain decision? Do you feel as though they guide you in a direction? Because fate certainly seemed to have some plans for Jiande. His purpose in life was to achieve a goal, and by God, the stars were willing to do anything for him. Born in modern Handan, kind of southwest of Beijing, in 573, he was renowned for his kindness and virtue, which is a good start. Like this one time, he was out tilling the fields and saw some guy who was too poor to give his parents a proper burial. So he instantly dropped his hoe to help out in burying them. His amicable nature made him friends and he rose up in the community. When his dad died, over 1,000 people showed up, but he refused any gifts from them. I guess he was living that Hippocrates life. He was then conscripted into a war against Korea and was put in charge of 200 men. Now at this point, his home country was being flooded and famine had set in. Fun! One guy under his command, Sun Anzu, whose house had been destroyed and wife killed, tried to get an exemption from fighting from the local magistrate, who went nuts and whipped him. So Sun Anzu killed him. He fled to Du's home and Du gave several hundred locals to him to become bandits of the nearby pond. I've not been able to find out how he did this or why they joined him, and believe me, I've looked. I guess that's just the power of fate. And because life in Sui China was really beginning to suck. Du did some networking and made connections to two other local bandit leaders, Zhang Jinchen and Gao Shida, and the two decided not to pillage his home, since he was so nice. But local law enforcement caught wind of Du, and when he was out fishing, they attacked his home and killed his family. More fun! Du fled with 200 men to Gao and was promoted to a general, because fate wanted it so. Meanwhile, Zhang killed Sun Anzi, and Sun's men joined Du, who gave them the spoils of war. In 616, the leader of modern Beijing came to attack Gao. At this point, Du was promoted to leader of the army. He pretended to be on the attacker's side and pulled an old switcheroo on him. He had Gao publicly execute a woman said to be his wife, and with the attacker convinced, Du suddenly ambushed and killed him. So far, so good. Now, you might be wondering about Zhang. He was dead. Yeah, he'd been killed by an imperial Sui general, Yang Yichen. Gao then went rogue and got cocky, and was also killed by Yang Yichen. Du then bolstered his army size to 100,000 and expanded his territory. It was said that because he was so nice to imperial officials, cities just surrendered to him. Or maybe it was fate. Another imperial army was sent to deal with another rebel leader, and Du decided to attack it. Hey you! Yes, you. Do you remember when I said that he was fated to do well? Well, here's an example. He set out with about 300 elite lads to attack this guy's camp in the night. He said that if he reached it when it was still night, he'd attack it, and if it were day, he'd surrender. He reached it at day. But then a thick fog rolled in and hid his army. They attacked and demolished the other army. What are the chances of that? It's like the world itself was gambling on him to do well. All my chips on this farmer. At this point, the imperial emperor died, but because he was so nice, Du sent his condolences to the garrisons still loyal to the throne. The leader of one of these was called Wang Kong, whom Du employed as a governor instead of killing him. He began to develop a governing body and set up a capital. All of this makes Du seem like a perfectly sane and rational guy, which, of course, he wasn't. This one time, he must have had a little too much baiju because he apparently saw 5 phoenixes, so decided to change his entire family name to honour them, becoming the Prince of Sha. More cities submitted to him out of kindness. He and his second wife were both very frugal, giving out all the treasure they found to their followers. He was also a vegetarian. Take that, big meater! At this point, the Sui dynasty had given way to the Tang, but imperial forces were just as angry. New baddie time! After a failed raid against him, Shiji retreated to Liyang. Darth Du the Wise was, seemingly for the first time, cheesed off. He attacked Liyang, capturing the emperor's sister and Shiji's dad, although Li himself escaped. Li then returned out of fear for his pops and became a guard and general for Du. His dad and the Emperor's sister were still held hostage, but he was very nice to them, letting them play on the Wii U once a day. Li Shiji turned out to be a bit of a Brutus though. He advised Du to attack a neighbour, Zheng, and then planned to attack him himself once he was in range. But, out of luck, or fate, Du's wife, Empress Chao, was giving birth at the time, so he was delayed, so Li couldn't attack him. He got cold feet anyway, so ran away to the Imperial Tang territory. Du's advisors ordered him to execute Li's dad, but being a ridiculously nice guy, he refused. Wait, what's that? He wasn't a nice guy anymore? Yeah, about that. First he succumbed to rumours and was killed by one of his best generals over fear of treachery. Then he killed a great advisor over false accusations. Apparently, people became scared to criticise him. Oh, what do you know? War changes people. So, remember when Du was advised to attack Zheng? Well, now, Imperial Tang forces are attacking Zheng themselves under General Li Shimin, so Zheng requested aid from Du, which he obliged. Li Shimin saw Du approaching and decided to fight him instead of focusing on besieging the city of Luoyang. Li Shimin decided to intercept Du on the Huluao Pass, a narrow choke point on the way to Luoyang. In Du's army, it seemed like everyone was trying to persuade him to turn back, but he remained set on passing through the Huluao Pass and attacking Luoyang. Du, please, turn back. This is impossible. Then you're not thinking hard enough. This is suicide. Then prepare to die. Du? What? Nothing, sir. It seems as though fate was driving him towards a giant battle. The tragic climax of the film is coming. Du's 100,000 strong army kept being denied battle by Li Shimin, which cost him even more moolah and exhausted his army further. Eventually, Du's army YOLO'd it and went to attack Li Shimin, only for Imperial soldiers to hide and play defense. Just as Du was turning his army around, Li Shimin went bingo and ordered a charge, decimating Du's army. Du himself was hit by a spear but kept on riding his horse until he fell off. He, by fate, I swear, was found by some Imperial Tang generals and was taken to the capital of Chang'an. Here, not even his insane plot armour could protect him, and he was executed by the Emperor Gaozu. Du's legacy of the Shah state disintegrated basically as soon as his head came off, which is a bit of a stinger. Oops. So, the next time it's a clear night, look up at the sky and think about the tragic tale of Du Zuenduo. More importantly, think about how damn strong his plot armour was. No other farmer turned prince did so well at this time. Well then,